the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. It was once known as the nanny dog of the world, so it was a dog that was more trusted with young children. Sadly, there are a lot of people out there that do get dogs on the whole for the wrong reason, and that could be for a security purpose or for intimidation. So they do tend to go for dogs that might be a little bit more tough looking, and I think this is where perhaps the breed has sort of like fallen into that type of line. I always say to people though, is it the actual dog that they're concerned about, or is it the person at the end of the lead that they're concerned about? Because if you were to see the same dog walking down the road with perhaps a little old lady, you probably wouldn't be that concerned. But if you do see the dog going down the road with maybe a group of young lads, then maybe you're a little bit more suspicious. So are we racially discriminating the dog, or is it the people?
Well, I use my two areas of expertise. One is I'm a veterinary surgeon, so obviously I have anatomical expertise about dogs and their body parts, but also I'm an accredited behaviourist. So those two separate areas of expertise are brought together in giving opinions about dogs and their owners which have fallen foul of the Dangerous Dogs Act. The Dangerous Dogs Act has two sections, primarily Section 1, which is the section relating to banned types of dog, primarily the pit bull type being the only one of real relevance. And Section 3 is the section which deals with all kinds of dogs that are alleged to have done something dangerous. So this may involve a bite, but it doesn't have to involve a bite. The owner of a dog under Section 3 of the Dangerous Dogs Act may be found guilty simply if their dog has frightened somebody or made them feel that they were under some kind of threat. And it refers to all injuries as well, so it isn't just biting injuries. If a dog, for example, were to chase somebody and they fell over and injured themselves that way, then that would fall under this section of the Act.
Breed-specific legislation is part of the Dangerous Dogs Act 1991, which was brought in to reduce dog bites within the UK. Breed-specific legislation has banned 4 types of dog, including the Pit Bull Terrier type dog. However, these dogs don't have to be purebred dogs, they can be crossbreeds, which is what we are seeing, such as these guys, which are short-coated, musty mongrels. The Pit Bull Terrier type has a particular standard which is used from the American Dog Breeders Association, which is based on a paper written in 1977 as a show standard, and that's what they use to identify Pit Bull Terrier type dogs.
I'm a proud owner of 3 bull breeds, 2 of which have been deemed pit bull types. This means that they can't be off lead and they must be muzzled at all times. This is under the Dangerous Dogs Act breed-specific legislation law. Police found me walking down the road one day with 3 of my dogs. 2 of them got seized, so I had to take them to police station. They wouldn't tell me where they were going, they wouldn't tell me anything about what was happening. They just told me that my dogs were dangerous and they had to be taken away to be evaluated and assessed. So basically they didn't really care that my dogs were sitting in a kennel for 6 months due to their negligence. I didn't know anything about what was going on. No one told me how they were or if they were being cared for. And I was petrified, and I was really worried about my dogs.
As a veterinary professional, being asked to euthanize healthy dogs based on what they look like seems really, really unfair. It's really well known that 88% of dogs that have gone through induction tests to make sure these dogs are safe for rehoming have passed, and these are rehomable dogs, but yet the law is asking you to destroy them based on their looks, which seems really, really unfair. And is a horrible, horrible thing for me as a veterinary professional to have to do to a dog just based on what the dog looks like. It's traumatic for us, it's traumatic for the dog, and also just again reinforces the fact that people think that these dogs are dangerous.
Owners are most commonly do not believe they own a dangerous dog, but the dog has done something that the law defines as dangerous. Now, that's not the same thing as the dog actually being dangerous. Dogs as people can get themselves into situations where one does, you do violent things. You might throw something at somebody or throw a punch at somebody. That doesn't necessarily mean to say you are a dangerous person.
You can make any dog look aggressive if you want to. If I picked up Minnie's hoop now and gave it to her and then shook her, she sounds really vicious. Leave. Min. And that's how people made them look like dangerous dogs.
Breed-specific legislation has lots of flaws, including that it costs the taxpayer thousands and thousands of pounds every single year to enforce. It doesn't reduce dog bites. Dog bites have increased by 76% in the last 10 years, and is basically luring the public into false sense of security to think that only 4 types of dogs will bite you, which is completely not true.
I'm afraid my view is it is not doing what it set out to do, which is to prevent dog bites. I mean, that should be everybody's aim. We should be seeing a reduction in dog bites if the law was being effective. My view is that relying purely upon a sort of punitive approach, so somebody's dog has done something nasty to somebody, or the dog looks similar to a dog that's of a so-called dangerous breed or type, is simply not being effective. It is not reducing dog bites, and it's not because it's not educational.
Having my dogs back is brilliant, except for the part that obviously I get people looking at me and judging me because I have dogs with muzzles on. People move their kids out of the way when I walk past them thinking that I've got aggressive dogs when I haven't. The dogs came back, mine came back very skinny. He came back even more fearful than he did when he went away, as he had a hard start in life anyway. They came back with fleas. They weren't looked after properly in the kennels at all. They definitely weren't walked or fed properly. And I find that they sort of judged me a bit as well. They resented me for what I did, because obviously I had to take them down there and put them into a cage in the police station and walk away from them, basically. It was the hardest thing I've had to do.